Hello everybody and welcome to Chaotic Neutral Games and our D&D 5th edition campaign, The Benefactor. I'm here with Felicia, Rodrigo, Corinne, Nick and Kate as they continue their adventure from last episode, which had a little bit of a cliffhanger. I'm going to reread the part of the cliffhanger, being that I kind of wrote it as a cutscene, just to catch anybody up who's watching on the predicament they're currently in. When Evernote lets me. Technology always being my bane. I know, technology being my bane. Currently, you guys can't hear the... Yes, they're just saying that they're giving me crap now. So, for the benefit of the viewers... They were at level 4 and just about to go at level 5 when I dropped this on them last episode. The bright autumnal sun beats down on the rooftops of Ostergald, lighting terracotta tiles to a rich burnt orange and the well-polished cobbles of the Triumph Square to gemstones of brown and grey. The statue of Duke Ostergald burns with a light bronze hue in this light, and beneath it you stand blinking as if you've freshly woken from a deep slumber. You look at each other as you stand in unfamiliar clothes. Those of you who wear armour are wearing magical armour, and those of you who don't are wearing braces of protection. Each of you finds an unfamiliar weapon at your hip, or in Cora's case, on her finger. A nearby bard calls out, "Come and get the latest news for the city and surrounding areas for today, the 14th of Hearthfire!" Some of you have knowledge of spells and abilities that you didn't have before, but no idea how you got them. You are now level 7. You have no memories for the last 3 weeks. You have no idea why you're stood in the middle of the city. So that's what we left them with, and we did have a little bit of a chat regarding some of the items they had on them, and we will go back into that scene the moment that they open their eyes as the start of this episode. Before we do that, though, just a few shout-outs. So first of all, we still have, just underneath me here, our Geeky Clean code, so you can get 10% off at geekyclean.com if you put in the word chaotic at checkout. This is not a paid ad, they're just a friend of the show, James and Steph, who it's their little company, and not so little these days actually, I shouldn't say that. They have always been allies of the Critter community and D&D community, and it's great that they've been able to build this business from within. And so go over there, check out their stuff. They're awesome. I recently got some myself. I'll do a little bit of an unboxing at some point and maybe throw it on here and enjoy the smellies. Let's bring everybody else in, shall we? Hello, everyone.
He almost got our names wrong.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Considering all the prep I've done today, Nick, over this one session, I think I can be forgiven for just suddenly getting the names the wrong order. So, I'm sure you're all prepared. You've level 7'd up.
Yeah.
In the
Yep.
in the channel Discord, I sent
in
out
the face.
The person who has the most amount of time is the least prepared.
I'd like to point out both our spellcasters have been a little bit slacky in picking their spells. I mean, not all of them have the divine favour of the Raven Queen to just bestow upon them all the magical gifts you could ever think of.
I should have just done it after the session last time, which is probably what I was going to do, and then it was like, oh, we get too late. Should have done it.
I had a very tough choice because I had to choose between 3 spells that I wanted, and I could only pick 2. So my 3 choices were Invisibility, Shadowblade, and Detect Thoughts. Now, I went for Detect Thoughts and Shadowblade because I really want to use Shadowblade. Because I already got type of invisibility with my Hat of Disguise anyway, so...
Yes. I... Glory's glory. That's all I'm gonna say.
I've just put a link into the chat, and the link in the chat will actually go through to the player's magical items. Now, we managed to cover last session. I didn't know if we were going to be able to, but we did cover last session that it's actually Tristane who gave you the magical armor and braces of protection, depending on what you're wearing, that basically gives you all +1 AC. The magical items that you have at your hip, I sent out over the Discord, and now I've put it into the Twitch chat as well. So anybody who wants to take a look at those can do so. Hello to anybody who's in the chat. I haven't been able to check because my tablet's playing up. And at the moment, I can only see one person who's not a bot. So we'll carry on anyway. You do notice on your descriptions there's a thing called finesse points. So finesse points have a specific trigger for each item. And the item descriptions that are on the document I sent out will have the finesse points for each item, but there's also an extra feature, and I'll just bring it up here. Ordinarily we'd have rattle in for the start, but we should see some more people coming in. I've had a few people say that they're going to join us, and it's a vote screen. So if I bring this up here, there's a vote screen that's just appeared on the stream, and at the break I'll get people to vote to find out who's going to get the finesse point. Finesse points largely just are moments of luck, so kind of a bit like luck points. They empower your abilities, and one of you, Farewell, has the ability to manipulate fate. So at the moment, the only thing he can do with a finesse point is give it to somebody else. But this will make sense as the adventure goes on. Right. So, let me just sort the lighting out because I just realised I'm in shadow, and then we'll get started. Much better. So, you open your eyes, and it's a regular day in Ostergald. It's only when the flood of, not memories, but knowledge of things you can do, and as you look at each other and then hear what the bard says, that you realise something is awry. What are you going to do?
It's been 3 weeks.
Yeah, but Eclipse will do. She'll just. So she'll turn around to everybody. Guys, what is the last thing you guys remember?
Going to bed after we got the new armor.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's what I do.
I feel absolutely great. How about you guys?
This is the worst hangover ever.
I don't know about great, but
Look at this. So pretty.
Okay, as soon as Glory starts being Glory, I'm gonna go towards the bard, and I'm actually gonna buy a newspaper from him.
Sure.
I'm following.
You give him some pocket change, and the young bard, who's got to be about 16, gives you the paper, and the paper doesn't have anything major in it. Usual political squabbling. Duke Ostermark, Duke Edmund is off on a new campaign. He's off to the northwest of Vardencourt to bolster a border dispute between Vardencourt and Meridia.
I bring a flash knife and I just kind of test it out and be like, I feel like I can use this effectively.
swing a razor sharp knife.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, so
A clip.
I have it and like
Maybe.
and I'm basically feeling out if I feel like I could use this is my point.
okay, so you pull out this fierce-looking razor blade on the chain, and you flick the chain out, and just as it's about to hit the floor, you pull back and spin, and as you do so, this 15-foot-long chain just starts to wrap around you, and you realise that the weight of the chain is how you make the thing move. You make this fierce spiral of this heavy chain around you and see the blade going past as you're spinning. You pick up the blade and throw it, and as you do so, the chain goes out with it as well. Then you seem to get a moment of recollection, and you pull back, and as you pull back, the chain actually reduces in length to about 2 foot, and you pull it back to your hand. And then as you hold it again, the chain starts to uncoil. This chain seems to have a form of shape-shifting.
Yeah. Well, I certainly did not know how to use this before yesterday.
I don't think it is yesterday, but like I'm gonna
What feels
start
like yesterday?
looking through my connection because obviously I know I can call upon a familiar with this. Because I want to see what happens.
You did last time. You were about to call you familiar.
But we kind of redid the starter, so.
I never thought that in all of our adventures I'd be on the same emotional level as Aiden. But right now there is a true emotional in between the two boys of this party. As both of them are probably quite clearly sat there going, "Oh, fucking hell."
Yeah.
Okay, speaking about familiars, Cora, your familiar is not here.
Oh shit.
Interesting.
Uh-oh.
I will telepathically call for her.
She appears just out of thin air as usual, and she appears invisibly. As she does so, she goes, "No! What? What happened?"
What's going? What's
going on?
I'm gonna tell her. I don't have any memories of. I don't know how long.
I remember
has been happening?
watching you fall asleep, and then, no, yes. She broke
falling
it.
Asleep,
Why did she break it? No. Was that a dream? Cora, I'm confused.
You're not the only one. All of us seem to only remember the going to sleep when we got this armor. Like 3 weeks ago? Was it 3 weeks ago? Or was it a year ago? I have no idea.
Last thing I remember was, I remember that night, but I also remember, and you can see she starts to say something, and then there's this shock through her body, and she goes, "Really, now? I'm sorry, Cora. I remember something else, but I can't tell you. The Gaius. But that's I don't know when that was, though. I remember something, but I don't know when it was. It's like I can't remember everything around it, so I don't know when it happened. It feels like a dream, but I know the dream is real."
Right. You seem to be in the same position that we're all in, so...
I'm sorry.
Don't worry, we'll figure it out. I want to look around and see if we were all standing in this courtyard. Did it look like... Did it feel like we were there about to do something? I want to look around to see if we look like we'd come to do something.
Yeah, you're currently here. So if I just move
cutting out a bit for me.
If I just move this target
I think
around.
Rodrigo wants to say something, guys.
Who does?
What is it, Rodrigo?
Rodrigo.
Oh, he's got his finger up. So
Yeah.
Go for it, say it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as Cora is telepathically talking with her familiar, I'm gonna say, well, I'm gonna head back to the tavern, and before any of you give me fucking dirty looks, no, I'm not gonna go get drunk. If anyone's gonna know what's been going on for 3 weeks, it's probably gonna be Naki. So
I completely agree with you, But
That is a very fair thing.
let's not just go yet. I want to be sure of a couple of things before we go anywhere.
Do you have anything written
We don't
down in
even
your
know
book?
if we're still on the same side. We have no idea what's going on. We might
Do we
walk
still have
into
our green
now enemy territory.
Do we still have our green symbols?
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
question.
You do still have your green symbols.
Right.
Okay,
Do
so
I-
maybe not that.
Do I still have my book?
You do.
Can you please check your book?
Did you write anything down, Farewell?
I
You
really.
write everything?
Farewell
Well,
tends to write
this
something down
goes-
every day, remember.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Look in your book.
Oh, I really, really don't want to. Okay. Only because I know you'll take it off me. And I open my book and I'm gonna see what I've written, if I've written.
Okay. Nick, react how you like, but you open your book, you take a look, confused, and then automatically pass a perception roll. Approximately 17 pages of your book has been neatly razored out down to the spine.
Oh, shit.
Shit.
Well,
Right.
not only
I-
does that not help, that is concerning.
Well, if I'm completely honest with you, this is kind of what was going through my head initially. Anyway, if if this was done to us, why wouldn't? I'm even surprised I've still got the book. Very happy I have the book, but I'm surprised that they didn't do something about the book. So
Maybe if someone did that, and it was if someone did that, maybe it was because they were looking for something specific, right?
Guys,
And everything else wasn't used to them. And if it was something you did but don't remember doing, because let's be honest, that could be a possibility. Maybe it's something that you wrote down that you realized was too dangerous to just carry around.
all perfectly
Why-
valid choices. Sorry, Glory, you wanted to say something.
yeah, Glory's looking particularly serious right now, which is odd, to say the least. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
this type of magic that would make us forget is powerful. But what I am more worried about is who would come so close to use such powerful magic in the first place.
Well, I know
Five
two.
of us.
I know two. I can off the top of my head name two people that we know that can't use magic and are can get close to us, and that is Tristane and Renata.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And
But
Olivia.
that's not taking into account anyone we may have met through
Through
Um,
them during these few weeks.
during the weeks. What's that thing you have on your hip, Aidan? I'm not sure I've seen one before.
Oh, this, and I pull out my fucking gun. Uh,
Like ass gun.
actually, I want to take as I actually do want to take a few minutes to examine it. 'Cause
Sure.
I read the description that you wrote, but I still want to I would still want to examine it a bit.
Absolutely, yeah.
Does it like
Ask
have
away.
like?
Well, it says that it bears the mark. In the description you wrote, it says that it bears the mark of a Bloodwind blood axe. Dude, I recognize that.
Yep, and it actually has her name on it. So it's not just the maker's mark, but it actually has embossed underneath it Bloodwind Blood Axe.
Alright. Do I remember that name from anywhere?
Do me an intelligence check.
May I also point out that we glossed over the fact that I tried to summon my familiar because we
Oh,
went
yeah,
to the
familiar.
chorus
Oh, I
earlier.
didn't. It's willingly ignoring that.
Yeah,
But
did
I will
it,
get
did
to
it
it, though.
summon though? Okay.
yeah.
I will get to that
Sorry,
then, Glory,
Felicia.
and I'll get to the part where
Fine.
it appears.
That's 13.
13. You do remember that a Maker's Mark was shown to you by Tristane. You were to recover a box going off to this corrupt Arcanist. You were to recover a box and bring it back to the owner. And it had an axe that was in a chalice. That's the same Maker's Mark as on your pistol, and it has underneath it Bloodwind Blood Axe.
Right. Okay.
Right, maybe if we can find this blood axe, you might be able to tell us something.
Yes, I agree. By the way, do I recognize the sigils, the Blood Hunter sigil?
Yep. On the hexagonal barrel, every barrel has a different set of Blood Hunter glyphs on it. And I say on every barrel, it's on 4 of the barrels. One of them says Bloodfire Shot. The second one says Ghost Lantern. The third says Lumen Discharge. And the fourth says Our Scorn.
When I read the Our Scorn, I just like stare at it for a second, and I think I don't know if this is gonna require a roll or something, but I didn't conflicted. Like they're staring at this, and he's staring at this, and it's I don't know, not relief, but not also not. I don't know. He starts acting a little weird when he reads that.
The one thing that does pop out of your mind is a tale of the Canelm family, of when they become powerful enough, coming in contact with their blood manages to weaken or curse any creature that comes into contact with it, even if they're undead. And it was told that one of your ancestors managed to defeat a powerful lich because there was a spell that the lich had to resist, but he was covered in the blood of one of your ancestors who was on death's door himself, and it was this cursed blood that made him fail the saving throw for the spell, and that was the end of it.
Yeah. Right. I say that out loud. I just say that. Right. I'm gonna head to the tavern now, if you guys don't mind.
Hold on, I need 11 minutes. If you can give me 11 minutes, I might have some answers.
You got 2 seconds.
But that completely out of character can wait because there's something else that needs to happen before that.
Yeah.
So whilst you're doing your 11 minutes, Glory looks at this beautiful. I think it's called a panem in India, which is a form of bracelet that then covers a mesh of filigree over the back of the hand, and then leads to 5 rings on each of the fingers and the thumb. The mesh that's on the back of the hand holds a large gem, a large onyx. If I bring back up the items, the onyx.
I think you said opal, actually.
Sorry, yes, that's right. It's an opal, not an onyx. There we go. So this Eye of Glory that I've just put up here. And as you look into this dark, dark gem, there's these erratic flecks of colour that in some cases the flecks come together to form ripples. And when you look at this, you can just feel your the power source that your sorcery comes from just start to tremble and grow, just staring at it. You realise that you can cast a Find Familiar spell through it, and you just allow yourself to do so, and it doesn't require any reagents to do so for this one. Okay, and I didn't put a picture for the wormling, so I'll leave it on the Eye of Glory. And smoke starts to curl around your arm, serpentine-like. And just as it reaches your hand from your elbow, it starts to coalesce, and wrapped around your arm is an eastern dragon, I guess. Tiny, tiny eastern dragon. Think Mushu from Milan, but made out of shadow and has small, sharp, think kind of like the wings of a swallow going along its back. And it's semi-translucent, seemingly made out of shadow itself, and it has two burning purple eyes that faintly glow. And you hear in your head, Mistress.
Hello there, gorgeous.
Oh god.
There's a feeling in your head as if the dragon, well, the wormling, as it is, it's a shadow wormling, as if it's purring.
You pet it.
Yes.
I will immediately catch interest of the little dragon. I will go over and ask if I can pet it.
Gloria?
I will just like look at him, raise an eyebrow, like, do you want to?
He looks at you, doesn't react to the eyebrow being raised. He seems completely oblivious. He seems transfixed on you, in fact, just staring at you.
I don't think he's that. I don't think he wants to. Now, little guy, are you coming with us while we try and figure out some stuff?
As my mistress commands.
I don't like this guy.
I don't think we can hear that. Only Glory can hear that, right?
Oh no, I'm saying that out of character.
Yeah. This is telepathic speech, as with Cora's familiar.
Yeah.
I raise him up so that he can sit around my shoulders if he wants to, or like on the shoulder instead of the arm while we walk around.
His presence is kind of tickly. He doesn't have any physical presence. You just feel this kind of tickling sensation creep up your arm, over your shoulder, and around your neck.
Right. I'm wondering how I managed to learn how to use this advanced weapon in 3 weeks.
I have an idea, but I need to focus.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just plonk on the floor.
Can we not do
and
this
just
on a
just
town square and probably do this someday, please?
We're doing it now. Just wait. Be patient.
Yeah.
It's too late.
He's
I've
doing
already
it.
started. I probably started
damn
about
it, farewell.
3 minutes ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'd like to ritually cast divination, please.
Ooh.
Ah.
Very well.
Well, while he's doing that, Gloria's also examining her new clothes because obviously.
Quickly, Aiden not only is also kind of looking at his new outfit, but also because wondering but also you can see that he's getting a case of the social anxiety.
Sure. Okay.
I'm probably a bit like Aiden. I'm looking around to see if anyone's staring at us or looking strange.
Everybody's going about their business.
I'm just looking at Kate. Cora now. Do I see that she has that suddenly has a wedding ring?
There is a ring of rose gold on Cora's wedding ring. Her hands are a little scratched up as well.
Yeah. Cora, I think you might have gotten married.
I do hope I was the flower girl. Otherwise, I would be disappointed.
I can't quite imagine getting married in 3 weeks, but
Well,
it's on that finger.
If you had a large enough pitchfork, you might have. And then I'm going to go back to my book.
True.
So, Cora, looking at your hands, you notice that 2 of your fingers are scratched. One of them is the middle finger of one hand, and then the excuse me, and then the wedding finger that the ring is on is also scratched. I say it's scratched, it's kind of a dull scratch, like a chafe. Almost as if someone tried to pull the ring off your finger or tried to force it on, either way. But it's on 2 fingers.
Like it might have been pulled off one finger and pushed onto another.
Yeah. That as you look at it and you consider it, it looks exactly like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I willingly got married. But it's a nice ring.
Maybe you did, but you were probably fuck off drunk.
Says the drunk one.
Yeah.
Well,
Are you sober right now, Aiden?
Aiden is
That's
sober
a
as
good
a
point.
judge.
I reply with sadly yes.
I don't think we've seen you without being at least slightly inebriated.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good look for you. You should continue this.
But I think an important detail I wanted to add. Aiden usually is very like, how do I say this? When he is on the alcohol, he's like, he's very sarcastic. You know, like he's kind of an asshole. Aiden right now is when he's right now as he's sober is very morose.
There's something about that bit. There's a joke there about being no different, but I won't make it. I will.
now
I will
he's
let that
morose.
pass.
Oh no.
Yeah, now he's. And I go back to my book.
Okay.
You know, the more you interrupt me, the longer this takes.
No one's interrupting you. You were just interrupting us.
Yeah.
Carry on. Do
So
your
speaking
thing.
of which,
Alright.
Figure
let's
this
get
out.
the
We need to
divination
know
done.
answers.
What are you? You get to ask a single question concerning a specific goal, event, or activity that occurred within 7 days.
Is that 7 days previously or in the next 7 days? Or is it either or? I'll let the DM ruling.
Good question. So, rules as written, it says you ask a single question concerning a specific goal, event, or activity to occur within 7 days.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that you can. Let me finish. That because it's to occur within 7 days, I'm going to say that yes, it will go 7 days into the future. But if you choose to, you can, because you're contacting a god or god's servants, they're hardly going to go, oh, sorry, you can only ask about the future. Yes, you can ask about the past.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is difficult. I think the sensible, the big. I'm gonna have to play this completely in character.
That's fair.
Yep.
The question he would ask is whether or not that they saw him with the rifts, because he's worried about the fact that there's something abyssal and undead and very evil underneath the city.
Okay, what's your
And he
exact
doesn't know
question?
if that's
Because
perfect.
you have to speak out the question to cast the spell.
Ah. When you say specific, so I can say something like, "Did we stop the rift, the abyssal rift under the city?"
You can ask that question.
Okay, that will be the question that
Who's
we ask.
beeping?
Else we accidentally pressed something on this thing. Oh my god. Okay, it's fine.
We're a quality outfit. Right.
Absolutely.
So, you ask the question and you can feel this sudden surge of warm energy around you. And just off your left ear, Farewell, you hear a familiar voice. It's the voice of the muse that came to you when you were doing the dissection. And even though you're tempted to turn around to see if they're there, you know they won't be. There's just a feeling that this is inside your head, but they're presenting it in such a way that it feels natural. And they say, not only did you not stop the rifts, you were stopped from stopping the rifts.
Oh,
you can't.
shit.
You cut out, Simon. What did you say?
He said not only... and Farewell will go, what do you mean we didn't stop them and somebody stopped us? And we'll just start... He will actually now look for the voice.
Well,
You turn
he's
around
gone.
and no one's there.
Oh, that's not good.
We didn't stop who? What did we not stop?
Oh, no.
What did you do, Farewell? What did you ask?
Well, okay, it's not really a question of what did I do for once. It's more of a question of what we didn't do. So you remember before we went to sleep, we set Tristane out on to find information for this guy, and we were going to deal with the oozes and the rift, and he was going to find every time it popped and, go down that road. That's still happening. We didn't stop it. So whatever we did in the last 3 weeks, we didn't, and something or someone stopped us from doing it.
Well, that's reassuring.
Well, looking at how beat up we all are, I'm not surprised.
I feel like we've been fighting for weeks. I hold up my glory. This is old, but it's not this scarred. We've been fighting.
That
would explain why I feel so great.
I'm gonna head to the tavern now.
Let's go to the tavern, guys.
I'm coming.
Okay.
Yes.
You head to the tavern, and the second you get in through the front doors, Noki turns around and says, "Ah, my good friends, you're finally back. You've been gone for 2 weeks."
What? Okay, no, I go up to the bar. Okay, Noki. Wait, this is gonna sound weird, but what do you mean finally back?
Well, you went off on mission, did you not? That's what I was told, at least.
Okay, I'll be completely...
Yeah,
Sorry. I'll be completely honest here. We have absolutely no fucking idea what we did last 3 weeks.
The last 3 weeks?
Last 3 weeks.
Aiden, may I place my hands upon your head? You remember that Kalashtar are very powerful empaths and psionics.
Yes, I normally I would say no, but in this circumstances, yeah, sure, go ahead.
He puts his hands either side, basically either side of your temples. He focuses for a second, and then suddenly he collapses on the floor behind the bar.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I'm over the bar. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna look him over. I've got it.
Okay, more reasons why no one should actually, fucking touch me or even be close to me. Thank you very much.
Clearly something or someone is trying to stop us from finding out anything.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Okay.
Is he okay? Is he dying?
Yeah,
No,
is
I'm
he okay?
waiting for the DM to tell me.
Farewell. Noki seems like he's stunned for a moment. He's otherwise okay. As he stands up, a thin trickle of blood comes out of his nose, and he goes, "Okay, I am out of practice. Maybe I should have looked for that. Somebody did this to you. Motherfucker, that hurts. Oh dear.
Yeah, you need to come sit down, and I'm gonna usher him to a chair. Deal with the nosebleed, and I am going to give him a proper check over just because concussion.
Sure. He reaches out
Because you're
for
a doctor.
a very heavily used mug. It seems really clean on the outside, but when you look on the inside, it's got like a ton of tannin. He's one of those type of guys. And he reaches out for his coffee. He comes with you, accepts the seat to sit down. You check him over. He seems fine, other than the pounding headache that he's got. He's suffered some psychic damage from his description, but you see no physical damage other than the nosebleed. And that's an automatic pass on your check, by the way.
Thank you.
I will turn to not. So, can you tell us what happened the first week we were here? Did we tell you anything? Like, what was our mission?
Well, we were trying to find this this researcher fellow, weird magic researcher, and we couldn't find him. So you took the opportunity to brush up on some of your skills. Yes, you were training intensively with the Green Organization and also with various mentors and that came in to help you. I mean, he points to the lash knife by your waist and says, there was a Tabaxi weapons trainer that had come in off one of the ships, and Renata paid him handsomely to intensively train you. He was only staying around for 5 days, so he...
Did I tell you where I got this from?
Well, yes, of course. That whip is it.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it either.
Okay, it's fine. It's fine. You come back.
We were trying to get answers. You see, someone is trying to stop us getting answers.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're everywhere. They control the internet.
Did I tell you where I got this from?
Yes, the Tabaxi himself gave it to you. He said that it's an elegant enchantment. It's not particularly powerful, but requires quite a lot of proficiency with it. And you trained intensively for 4 days. You didn't sleep for 3 of them because you were so obsessed on nailing it. And in the end, it came to a little arrangement with Renata, and she linked your mind with this other Tabaxi. Kolos, his name was. He was a nice guy. He was leopard, good spots, and he transferred some of his knowledge into you, just to augment the training that you already had. And shortly after that, well, you couldn't stop you from swinging that thing around, including in the front room here. By the way, you're on your final warning, and you're not to swing that around in the common room, yes?
Right. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry for past me.
Yeah, well, I don't care if you have amnesia. I don't care. You're not going to be swinging that thing around. You nearly took the poor beard off Olaf over there. Yeah? And there's this dwarf that looks up and goes, "Ugh," and then goes back to his beer. He says, yeah, you nearly gave him a shave. He hasn't shaved in 40 years, and you nearly gave him the first one, so you be careful.
Right. I am very sorry. I am very sorry. That certainly explains how I could use such a advanced weapon such short amount of time.
So yes, farewell. You went back to Freetown, and you were in contemplation with a Raven Queen paladin there, and you went through many trials. Apparently, we just saw you coming back wasted at the end of each day. You were spending a lot of time reflecting on your time in the what was it called? The Seer's Room in the university. You wanted to make sense of it all, so you went to the Raven Queen's temple. You spent a lot of time there praying and fasting and going on these vision journeys, spirit journeys. Sorry, I don't know what it's called. And so yeah, you came back white as a ghost, which considering you're blue is some achievement. And green, not blue. So he said it was some achievement, but you came back. You seemed satisfied but exhausted. There was a few times where I had to make you eat because you just wanted to go to sleep. So that's that. And Aiden, you spent some time sitting down with a lovely dwarven woman, and she was going over sketches, designs with you, and you spent a lot of time drawing this strange alphabet.
I did.
No, this is Aiden.
No, I don't.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, you cut out.
Yeah.
Shit. Sorry, I kind of blanked out there.
No, it's okay. So he says that Aiden sat down with a dwarven woman. After you, what was it? It was the day. He says it was about day 3, so it was 3 days after what you last remember. You went off to a place. You came back with a dwarven woman who seemed to be quite grateful, and she seemed to be able to talk to you on a level that most people can't. He kind of turns around and says, you and her, she got on, which was quite surprising because normally you like to keep yourself to yourself. And you sat down and you were poring over drawings, like designs, and writing in this strange script as well. And then he points to the gun on the side. He says, that is what you were drawing. Well, she was drawing that, and you were drawing those symbols. And he points to the blood hunter symbols.
Right.
He goes, other than you having visits from Miss Storm, I had nothing else from you. And then
Mr. Storm visited you?
many times. Glory, you for the most part were just speaking to people in the merchant's quarter. You did do some magical research with Renata, but you did come back bored out of your skull after day 2, and you didn't bother with that anymore, and just managed to find a place in the city where you can just throw your energies about. Apparently somebody has a practice room in the merchant's quarter, and you managed to schmooze your way into being able to use it. And yeah, you just were coming back satisfied and a little burnt, may I say. Some of your clothing got damaged and we weren't able to repair it, even with a mending cantrip. And then you got a package. It was a courier's package that only you could sign for. It was enchanted in some way. You were very excited. You took it up to your room, and yeah, you unwrapped it, and I could hear the squeals of delight down here. You have a feeling it was the opal.
Yes.
And then Cora, other than your nightmares, you just spent your time talking to Eowyn, helping Farewell. You were the most normal out of the lot, I think. You just were happy to go and do a little bit with Renata, a little bit with Olivia, a little bit with some of the others. And yeah, you seem to be enjoying the training, but you kept yourself to yourself, and you spent some time down here as well. You spoke to that lovely wood elf lady on one occasion, and yeah, that's all from that week. But then at the end of that week, there was a request for you to go to the mansion. You went to the mansion. I heard on the grapevine that they found where this arcane researcher was, and next thing I was told is that you were off on mission, and expect you back when you're back. That you were going to investigate and stay on the trail of him.
Right.
That's concerning.
Right.
Okay. Thank you. At least something more than we had before.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
did you learn about Eowyn?
Oh. Yeah.
Miss Eowyn.
Was that a DM mistake or was that a genuine?
And how did you know about the nightmares?
I'd assume he knows everything that happens in here.
Well, I heard you.
Yes.
I heard you cry out in the nightmares, and it was only when you cried out one night when you were being attacked. Well, it sounded like you were being attacked. That I took the initiative to use my master key on your door. to make sure that you were all right, and that's when I met the lovely Awen. I assume she's around here somewhere. Hello.
Do I believe him?
Roll insight.
Okay, dokie.
My.
19.
19. He seems to be telling the truth. If you haven't guessed, I pre-rolled a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess we know what we did for a week at least.
So, who's Ewan?
Is there who else is in the tavern with us at the moment?
That most people aren't paying attention to what you're talking about, and if you don't want to reveal who Eowyn is, yeah, Noki. I rolled to see what Eowyn was doing in this scene, and when Noki burst in, she was doing something in particular, but Noki had no idea. All he saw was, if you press him on it, he says all he saw was you on the floor.
No, I'm not asking what he's. I'm asking who else is who else is here? Like when Eclipse asked that question, I'm looking around to see who's here.
No one within earshot. People are ignoring you. You're a regular sight around here, so you're being ignored.
Do we still live here, right? Do we still have our rooms?
Oh, of course you do.
I don't know whether it matters, but guys, would you mind coming upstairs? I think I need to tell you something.
You sure?
Noki has picked up on the fact that he's dropped a bollock and he is looking guilty.
I didn't get a word of that, so I mean,
you're cutting out a lot for me. I'm really struggling.
Okay, hang on. Let me just change a few bits. So yeah, Noki.
We've been trying, but you're cutting out a lot.
Okay.
Been a bad day.
Wouldn't it be a chaotic neutral stream if it weren't for a gajillion
If
technical
it wasn't
difficulty?
chaotic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
Run from a single laptop.
A single laptop that should have been replaced ages ago. That
Maybe.
thing really is on its last legs.
So I'm going to try using this. Can you hear me on it now?
Yeah.
That's a clearer mic as well.
Okay. So he. Sorry, what was your question again?
So I asked if everyone would come upstairs.
Oh yes, yes. I remember what I said.
Sure?
So Noki looks guilty as if he has suddenly detected that he's made a mistake by mentioning her.
Oh.
Simon, do you want to put your mic down because if you hold on here, you're like fiddling with it. As in,
anyway,
like, put it down on the flat surface.
Yep, I'm doing it. Right. Okay.
Sorry. Okay, Farrell. I think any questions, and we don't know who to trust, but I feel like if we can trust anyone, it's got to be ourselves, right?
Yeah, I just don't know if we are.
I quickly glance at Glory and then I say, right.
Yes, I don't even glory.
Constructive, but
I haven't done anything.
we can talk about the consortium a bit later. We've still not discussed that, but I'm
Okay. Don't worry.
Let's do this upstairs.
Okay.
Let's out of
Okay.
the way.
Let's go upstairs. Let's go upstairs.
Yeah, I've
Head-
been
head up
waiting for
to
you guys
my
to bring
room.
up that.
Okay. Are we in the room? Right, we're in the room. Yeah?
Sure.
I need. Hang on. I
I've lost
need to
my-
know which room you're going to.
My room.
Okay.
Yeah.
You go to your room, and
Oh God.
So, wedding dress.
and open my door, and is it still the same?
Roll initiative.
roll initiative with your wife. No. So you open the door, and
Yeah.
at a glance, only one thing jumps out at you, and that is
Literally jumps out
That,
at me.
it's
or-
that fucking cat, innit? It's that.
so.
Where's it? Come on.
There is one thing that immediately is obvious, and that is that your music box is next to your bed, smashed to bits.
Oh.
Huh.
That's not where my from.
Do you usually
I don't know. I went to bed 3 weeks ago. Remember?
No,
I
I
run
don't.
over to the table, and I look at the ruined music box and. Does
Awen-
it
should-
Awen on your shoulder turns around, sits on your shoulder and says, I was telling you about a dream. This was in the dream. I can tell you that much at
Oh,
least.
I do this?
No, I can tell you that.
Oh, this is to Awen. Should I tell them you exist? What do you think? I don't want to do it without your permission, and
I think all things considered, Cora, that decision is up to you. If you think you'd get better use out of me by me being a secret, then keep me a secret. And just brush over what Noki said. You can trust him. I've got a good feeling about him. And I remember him walking in on me. You can tell that she was just about to say more, but then there's a look of pain on her face, and she just doesn't bother.
I look towards Farewell.
You okay?
I don't know. I don't know what happened for the last 3 weeks, and I'm confused, and I don't know. We don't know who we can trust, but we need to trust someone.
I mean, I could always cast Zone of Truth, and everybody could choose to be taken by it, and then we can talk if we're that worried.
Let's have a therapy session.
Oh, well,
I mean, that is the extreme.
that affects
way
us
of
too.
doing it.
So
Yeah.
that's maybe more than I was thinking.
But with the Zone of Truth, you are allowed to refuse to answer. You don't have to answer.
No, that's very true.
Yeah. Look,
You know me. I like playing close to my chest, so I'll follow your lead. I trust you.
Trust
I
us. It's
don't-
been 20
don't even know if I
episodes.
trust you right now.
It's been 23 episodes. You can trust us by now.
Yeah. Well, look. I mean, Glory has a freaking dragon now. Is it a dragon? It's kind of a dragon. It's white
a
or
worm.
something, right?
Worm.
Worm. So it's kind of a mini
Yeah,
dragon.
you see just this weird little shadowy serpenty creature around her neck with dull but still burning purple eyes.
Well, so Glory's not the only one with a companion, guys. I have one as well, but I've kept her hidden from you.
Right?
not maliciously, just to keep her safe and to keep me safe. And I mean, she's helped. She's good at looking at stuff because she can't be seen. But I can ask her to be seen if you want to meet her.
Yeah, sure. That would be really interesting.
We would love to meet your friend.
Okay. Eowyn, show them who you are. And
You notice that on the bedside table where the shattered music box is, suddenly there's a ripple in the air, and sat on one of the pieces of the music box is a little sprite. For people who don't know the difference between a sprite and a fairy, some of you might think it's a fairy, and Cora can describe what she looks like.
oh yeah, I've never done this. Well, I kind of picture her as a well, so I don't. Yeah, I did. She's less fairy and more like she's kind of a mixture between, I suppose, Tinkerbell and Peter Pan. So she's more Peter Pan. She's like tomboyish, sort of, but all sort of like natural colors and stuff in her clothing. I don't know quite what she wears. Do they wear clothing? I'm imagining kind of clothing.
She tends to wear natural materials for her clothing. Normally kind of a form of preserved leaves and things like that. So rather than them going brittle, by the fact that she's wearing them, they still stay verdant. So it's a leaf that hasn't dried. There are leaves that haven't dried out. There's moss, things along those lines. And yeah, I kind of agree with you. I've always seen Eowyn as the type who would do the stereotypical Peter Pan pose rather than being the whole kind of, twinkling on the leaves of flowers and things. She's got a bit of attitude, and she's got
herself a longbow and some other things. So she's got weapons and stuff.
Oh yeah, she's stacked. Yeah, she's got stuff.
And rather than kind of butterfly type fairy wings, she's more dragonfly type sort of wings, I guess, that sort of thing.
That as you guys look at them are actually made out of light, so the wings coming out of her back, you have a feeling that if you went to touch them, your hand would pass right through.
Ooh, she's very pretty.
Yeah.
Hello.
We lost the viewer.
CNT viewer gone.
What a great session.
Oh no,
The internet is hating this.
Blame it on the Chinese guy. The Chinese guy. That sounds so wrong.
That sounds really awful.
I know, it just sounded really bad.
Wow, Kate.
I meant it
Thank you for getting us banned off Twitch for hate speech.
I would like to clarify to chat.
We just got affiliated.
Oh Jesus. What else can
We just got affiliated with Twitch. What the fuck
I would
are you
just
doing?
like to say you are digging yourself an even bigger hole with every sentence.
Yep,
so
absolutely. I'll just keep going. Hold on. What else can I say that's offensive?
I'm just going to switch off this scene and back on again. Give me just a second.
Right.
Sure.
Oh man.
We might be.
I'll use this time to continue to.
Okay, carry on talking. I will sort this out on the break.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So.
Oh
anyway,
boy.
Yes.
Well, can they still hear us? Because isn't the CNT viewer doesn't it?
We can-
They can still hear you. If I can hear you, they can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear.
It's just the video that's gone off.
Okay. Anyways, so I mean, I keep her. She stays invisible most of the time because I think it's safer, and it makes her really useful for us. She can watch things that we can't, and I can talk to her, so she can let me know things. She was the one who spotted that weird ball thing in that rat that Farewell was operating on, so.
She kind of looks a little proud and goes, "That's me." And by the way, when you
Yeah.
said she's really pretty, she kind of scuffed her feet and looked away as if she's not exactly comfortable people saying that.
Aww.
Not accustomed to people saying.
You're just. Oh.
She's actually a very good friend. And it's been a pleasure to know her.
At that, she just beams. She's smiling.
I actually take a piece of the broken music box and just sit down on the bed because the first time I saw her was sitting on that music box, and now it's just making me think about that.
What's with the? Why? Who would smash your music box?
Eowyn looks
I don't know.
pissed. Eowyn looks pissed off.
Oof.
Do you know, little one?
I can't say. And she's at this point, her face is bright red, her movements are jarred and angry, and she's pacing.
Eowyn, can you think it?
Oh, I know what you're going to try to do, and it would cause me a huge amount of pain.
Don't do it.
Alright, okay.
It's okay. Maybe your silence might tell me everything. Who knows? Anyways, I thought it might be me for a moment, but
No, I can say
it's
that it
just
was
another
not you.
thing that's happened in the last 3 weeks, I guess.
But hey, you got a new cloak out of it. And you do notice that amongst the clothing that you guys don't recognise, Cora is wearing a fairly well-to-do riding cloak. It has a kind of stone or sand type texture to it.
Do did you tell us about this last time? I feel like you did, and I can't quite remember. Did I know what it does? Or
I did
if
say
it
that
does
you
anything?
had a ring and a cloak.
Yeah.
It's not in the
I guess you
items
just
list, so we don't
It's not in the
really
items
know what
list
it does.
on purpose, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, but it did a ripple thing, right? It ripples or something.
Yeah. Now that you watch it, it kind of ripples weirdly. Doesn't move like most cloaks do.
I'm gonna
Now
put
that
the
your
hood up.
attention's been drawn to it.
Does anything happen if I put the hood up?
Nope.
It looks like it might do something, but I have no idea what.
Oh, it does something, and I was about to tell you. I was just about to point out what it does, and then that little nagging feeling saying that I would probably end up screaming in pain came into the back of my head. Wonderful.
So,
that
we know.
sounds annoying.
We know we
You're telling me.
We spent a week training and learning off the back of what we put in place with Tristan. Sorry. Then we went away to do a job. 2 weeks later, we just snapped back into reality with no memory in the middle of the city.
Yep.
We definitely know that somebody's done this to us. We definitely know whoever it was thorough enough to cut stuff out of our books, remove any item on us that would give an indication as to where we are. And I start rummaging through all of my kit and going, when did I get 500 golds worth of diamonds? And just back in the bag.
Yeah,
back
Farewell
in my
puts his
bag and
hand in
just-
his bag and pulls out just a handful of diamonds. He's like, "What?"
And okay. I pull out like five platinum rings. Okay. I've been thinking a month. I think a month. Has it been a month? Would it be a month
I
now?
don't know.
Would it be a
Been
month?
3 weeks, yes.
Oh, that's really weird. Here, put these on, and I give each person a platinum ring. I'll explain that
Ooh.
another time. and thinking, is there anything in my kit that would suggest I might know where we've been?
Okay.
Anything at all?
So amongst your kits,
wait.
you.
Sorry,
Okay.
Glory. Go on.
But before you ask Simon that, when you hand Glory the ring, she's like, ooh, and then she looks at you, pats you on the shoulder, and says this. I'm not into polygamy, boys, but I will take this as a sign of friendship. And then she puts on the ring.
Eclipse is just wait. I'm gonna.
I need to thank.
Eclipse is just like laughing in the corner.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You know, the weird thing is, the longer this goes on, the more I seem to understand you. I did. This is very weird.
Hey, we have video back.
Hey.
Yeah, I've been fixing it whilst you've been role playing.
But yeah, I'm gonna go
I
back
take
to
the
my
ring
bag.
and I go.
Yeah.
Sure.
I would like to search to see if Tuck, my mouse, is still around and alive.
Oh yeah, you
I fucking hope so. I'm not wasting Revivify on the mouse. I do have Animate Dead. So you could
Not even be around anymore.
I do have Animate Dead, so you could have a zombie mouse.
I'm not fussed about the mouse necessarily. I'm just asking for roleplay reasons.
Okay.
There is still a mouse.
So for roleplay
I
reasons.
can roll if you want. I can roll for it if you want.
No. For roleplay reasons, I mean, your mouse. You go up to the cage, and there's water, and
Well,
there's.
he sits in a sort of like little like coconut type shell hanging from my belt usually, or somewhere.
I'm going to say that there's a little cage that
Or it's
has
on
been
the
set up
side.
for night times when you're asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's. I'm just checking everybody's. Oh, everybody's in the right place. Cool. So you his little nighttime spot, which is a little cage. You go up to it, and there's water, and there's food, and Tuck is neatly Tuck is neatly asleep in some hay, and it looks like Madeline, who is the only maid who's allowed up here. The other person is Noki, but Madeline's allowed up here. It looks like she's been feeding him. However, as she does so, give me an investigation check.
Oh no. What the hell has happened to the mouse?
It's suddenly 3 years old.
Noki did confirm that we've been away
Being
for
a
3
halfling
weeks.
is so good with the ones.
Oh,
right.
2 weeks.
Oh shit! No, but I haven't updated enough to know. Oh no, nothing has changed regarding that, has it?
No,
So-
we need one more level
Went up to
before I
3.
can get 20 in charisma.
I
Wow.
hate you.
Wow. Okay, so
I
that
can add
is
my
a.
charisma modifier.
What am I doing?
After the attacks.
Investigation, right?
That's right.
Was it investigation? So that is. Where is that? Where am I being blind? Where's investigation? Oh, it's there. There. No, 11. It's not very much.
No, that's fine. This is a really simple thing. It's largely just to see whether or not you overlook something that's obvious. There's a few items of clothing that are folded up and laundered and placed to one side. You can see some items that you recognise, other items that you don't. But there's one item in particular that fascinates you, being that it's not your size. It's the size of a medium creature.
What have you been doing with the Wood Elf, Cora? What have you been doing with the Wood Elf?
I think you've been hanging out with Glory too much.
What What does it? Do I recognize the clothing at all?
If you go and
or is
unfold
just-
it, it's a green embroidered dress, very similar to what the wood elf wore, and
Oh shit.
it has embroidered patterns of small roses and small kind of vine-like motif. But in amongst the vines, there's little things like ladybirds and bees and things like that have been embroidered into it. And yeah, it's neatly laundered and folded. There's nothing else that would belong to a medium person. Just that.
Okay, well, we might get a visitor at some point, I guess. No idea.
Oh,
This doesn't fit me.
Yeah, as Cora lifts it up with her arms above her head, she only really picks about half of it off the floor. The other half just trails across the floor.
Right.
I have a feeling a lot more's happened to you in the last 3 weeks than perhaps the rest of us.
I'll have to agree.
Shall we check our other rooms and see if we can find anything, like any clues?
Yeah, that's not a
Yeah.
bad idea.
Yeah, you guys go ahead. I need to make a few notes. It'll take me a while. I've got a lot going through my head and I need to focus out. So you go, my door's open. It's always open.
Right.
Right. Right.
Your door is currently closed, but
Check
yes.
out. Yeah. Should we check out like me and
Metaphorical.
Loris first? Because I think searching as a team is going to help us like understand rather than just searching individually.
I'm just going to follow whoever is. I'm heading out and head towards someone else.
Go to my room, I guess. It's easy.
Yep.
Okay.
Just go
Yeah.
to the closest room.
Yeah.
So you go into Eclipse's room, and when you open the door, almost every piece of wall space is covered in paper. Various parchments and all the rest of it. So it looks like a conspiracy theorist's bedroom in there. But when you look at
She's
the...
finally snapped.
I know exactly how it looks.
So when you have a look, though, it seems
Please
to
find the
be
picture.
split into two different types of poster, I guess. One is to do with this Jorodan painting. There are maps pinned against the wall, and, maps that seem to have been replicated by a scribe, and then someone, either Eclipse or Garrett or whoever, has grabbed hold of a ruler and a pen and has started drawing lines, and there's angles, and there's footnotes and theories and all the rest of it as to where this bloody Tomb of Jorodan is. And, they've gone full kind of X-Files. The only thing that's missing is the red string. Yeah? That's one part of it. The other part of it seems to be a different project that has taken up Eclipse's obsession. And that is this lash knife. And you can see that up on the wall is almost like dance steps written down. If you've ever seen dance steps written down, it's like that, but instead it's weapon katas for the lash knife.
Ah,
Right.
This intensive week of research and training, Eclipse has just gone all out on it all, and she's just completely, it's like those big post-it note pad things you can get when you're brainstorming, and you can kind of rip off the top one and shove it against a wall. I've got those in work. It's kind of like that everywhere in this place, and you do notice that there's some kind of balled up pieces of paper in the corner of the room as well, where clearly there's been something that Eclipse has written down or half written down or didn't like or thought that, oh, nope, that's wrong. And she's just screwed it up and thrown it into, all in one corner, strangely enough. She's always thrown them in the one corner of the room.
One corner.
I just have an initial look at things. Do I think I'm anywhere near like solving the mystery of the painting, or is it just like all gobbledygook?
you have done a lot of work. You don't know how much of it has bore fruit. Probably best to speak to Garrett about it, because he probably would take the week that you spent here to catch up on it.
Yeah.
He might be able to.
Yeah.
He might be able to fill you in faster. But
Yeah.
it looks like you got quite far, because you seem to distinguish an order with the stuff that's on the wall, and your kind of leading theories are put in one part of the wall.
Okay.
Aiden, yes. Yes, Aiden.
But
Oh, sorry. I didn't know if you saw me. I just wanted to say that instead of following everyone and going into Eclipse's room, I'm gonna go straight for mine.
Sure. Aiden, you go into your room. There's an extra table in your room, a little kind of coffee table. And open on the table is a set of instructions and a cleaning kit for the witchlock pistol, and notes that are written in a hand that's not your own, and it has kind of dwarven geometry to the handwriting, because they normally write in these kind of very straight runes, which is the kind of dwarvish alphabet. And it is in common, though, and there's a note at the bottom from Bloodwyn saying that she'll be back on the... Let me just check. She will be back on the 23rd of Hearthfire if there are any problems with the pistol.
What's how far is that from now?
That is 11 days, I think. No, it's 9 days. 9 days.
Okay. Anything?
If you want to do an investigation
Okay, so I'm
check,
gonna-
you can.
yeah, I wanted to do an investigation check as well for my room.
Okay, both of you
yeah,
do
let
investigation
Eclipse
checks.
do-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you helping me, Miss Glory
Yeah.
and Cora? Right, then help Baxter.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I got
We're
expertise
already
now in
there.
investigation, so I have a +8. 7, 17 plus 8, 25.
Sure.
I got a 17 for mine.
Okay. So, looking through your room, you don't see a great deal more than you saw when you first came in. You do find some weapon marks in the walls, and clearly you've been using the chain in your bedroom. You look at the crumpled up pieces of paper, and one of the crumpled up pieces of paper is a polite request by Nookie not to stab his walls. Other than that, there's not a huge amount extra. It seems like your room is an open book, literally.
Yeah. Okay.
So what did you get?
I
Aiden?
still have my. I was gonna say I still have my apron and stuff. That's not gone.
You don't find it in the room. You panic for a second, then look through your bag. It's in your bag.
You cut out,
You
Simon.
completely.
Yeah.
The internet is not being great to us today. You panic for a second when you find that it's not in your room, and then you find it in your bag.
That is good.
Okay.
Yeah, I got 17 on my roll, Simon.
Fair enough. Your room hasn't got a huge amount of stuff to find, but on 17 you do find one thing. The clothes locker, the not clothes locker, clothes cupboard that I described
The
when you
closet.
first, the closet that you found when you first came to own these rooms. You look through there, all of your clothes are there, but you do notice something else. There is a pair of boots, female, pair of trousers, female, and a piper's jacket.
Right. This is a very specific question. I don't know. if I'm gonna need to roll again for it, is there anything? How do I say this? Is there anything Canelm related, like new here?
Not that you can see. There's nothing extra that points to the Canelm family. Just this set of women's clothing, and when you look in the right-hand boot, you do see there's a pair of hose, a breastband, and basically a loincloth in there as well, all bundled up in like a little bag.
Right. Right. Gonna ask Naoki to take this out and have them stored somewhere not there.
He looks at them very surprised, and he was there saying, of course. Takes the items.
Oh shit! Didn't know you were here.
Well,
Yeah, if
you said you were going to take them to
you
Noki.
could. No, I'm gonna. I was telling to myself I will tell Naoki.
Oh right,
to
okay. So yeah,
grab
he's
these.
not there currently. So yeah, you put them to one
Yeah.
side. Yeah. The
I
way
am
that they are folded
relieved.
up looks like they were put there very deliberately. They're folded up just like the rest of your clothes.
Right. And after that, I am very relieved that I found nothing related to my family here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna head to the bar now.
Fair enough. So you've done Eclipse's room. Aiden's done his own room. Eclipse and Glory for... well, actually, Cora's hanging along with them, isn't she? Kate. I can't hear you.
That's because I didn't say anything, but you're cutting out, so I didn't hear what you asked of me.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
I
so...
will say, come to me at the end, please. There is something I'd like to do. But it
Okay,
can wait
so-
till the break.
Are the girls going to be checking out Farewell's and Glory's room?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to go in there without permission, but if the others are going
have.
in and invite me in, then I go.
You definitely have Farewell's permission. He did
Yeah,
say you can go.
I think I'm going to be, like, definitely looking in Farewell's room.
Yeah.
See
Yeah.
if
Can we look through? Can we look through Glory? Felicia?
Okay. Felicia.
I forgot I had my mic turned off. I was talking. Yes, we
It
can
happened.
go to my room.
Sure.
I'm curious what might be there.
You go into Glory's room, and Glory's room is set out as it always is, immaculate, ready for guests. And when you go in there, you notice that there's a lot of designs. Clearly, Glory's been heavy at work designing the jewellery she's currently wearing. And it has a number of different enchanted runes and things as well. There's no enchantment equipment here, but there are notes on being proficient in enchantment. And the second that Glory sees it, she goes, "Oh yeah, I can enchant things now."
Oh yeah. I was curious about that because Glory wanted to look into it, so great.
The second that you
Well,
look at
that's gonna be fun.
the imbuement glyphs that's on there, you're looking through them and you're like, I understand all these glyphs and how they work and how they interact. And there's a little pouch of gold dust that's off to the side. And immediately, the second you look at it, you recognize it as residuum.
Ooh.
Nice. Well, this
So
is gonna be
you can
fun.
do Enchantment now.
Yes,
Enchantment.
wanted to look into learning that. It's such a useful skill.
Yes, I could actually do it with you now when you know it, so we can enchant things together.
Last roll before we take a break. Glory, do an Arcana check.
Arcana check. Yes. Yes. Where's my Arcana? I know that's supposed to be good. It's an intelligence check. First roll of the dice is decent. That's an unnatural 20.
Sure.
20.
You take a look at the designs, you take a look at the runes, and then you take a look at the jewelry on your hand. Not only did you design the jewelry, you enchanted this item.
In 3 weeks.
That's all she did for 3 weeks.
Train.
No, we went on a mission, and it doesn't take a week to enchant something.
Oh.
Yep, somehow you managed to enchant your item in 1 week, whilst also learning how to enchant.
God.
Right.
But
I am slightly concerned. This is good. Lord likes it. This power and knowledge and
We're in
everything
there,
is
right?
good. There is clothes designs scattered around. Like, obviously my next project. Oh boy. I'm gonna have some work to do.
How did we accomplish so much in just 3 weeks? Is this
1
seriously
week.
only 3 weeks?
Remember what Naki said? We went on a mission.
Well, I mean, we were still figuring. I mean, we'd only just joined the organization, and we were still figuring stuff out. And suddenly, we are doing all this stuff and training up, and I don't quite believe it.
Okay, so DM's note here. There are some things that you learnt within a week. Getting to level 7 took you all 3 weeks. You would have obviously learnt things whilst you were on the mission in the same way that you would level up during a dungeon. So you learnt to get
Sure.
basically to level 5 and a bunch of proficiencies in the first week. And the proficiencies in some cases was Farewell's Vision quests. Cora did some training and things which got her to level 5, and she sorted out some stuff which apparently ended up with a broken music box. Eclipse trained obsessively to get her started with that lash knife, but then presumably over the mission that she went on over 2 weeks she honed her skills. Aiden spent a week building the gun. The fact that he seems to be proficient in it now suggests that he's used it. Glory is the only one that is kind of extreme in this case, because in 1 week she learned how to enchant, and she enchanted something. And not just a small thing either. We're not talking like a drift globe or something like that. We're talking a very powerful artifact.
Yeah. So is that where we're taking a break?
Yep, we're going to take a break, everyone. And I'm going to beat up the internet and tell it to start playing ball. And we will be back in about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
See you all then.
I want to do that every day.
Welcome back, everybody. So, when we left off, our party was looking through their bedrooms to determine any differences in the last 3 weeks and finding a few interesting items. A medium-sized embroidered green dress for Cora. Eclipse had a bunch of brainstorming A2 pieces of paper nailed to a wall. Aiden found a maintenance kit for his witchlock pistol and, strangely, a set of women's clothing in the style of Olivia Storm in his
I really wanted it to just be
closet.
Aiden's, though. He's just been experimenting. That's
You're talking to a non-binary
Lord got
person.
him into it.
If he
You're
has the legs,
talking
he
to a
can rock it.
non-binary person. I don't know what you're trying to do.
I was about to say, we all know he's got the legs for it.
Yeah,
And the worst thing is,
Absolutely.
out of all of us, he walks best in heels. And
That's
it makes
true.
all of us very...
Canna.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And for Glory, it was lots of designs of jewelry and enchantment glyphs, although no enchantment kit,
Enchanted.
no enchantment tools itself, and quite clearly for the arcane focus that she now wears on her hand. The only bedroom that you haven't gone into, although most of you haven't gone into Aiden's, is Farewell's.
Good.
We'll have to ask politely before we go in there.
He's already given his permission. Farewell's
Oh,
given permission.
Oh, yeah.
Farewell's room.
Farewell.
Yeah, I gave you
Corwell.
permission.
Corwell?
Cool. Well,
Think-
Farewells.
oh my god, we already have a Brangelina name. That is
We've
so bad.
merged. We've merged. What the fuck?
Fusion. Ha!
What was really weird was the other day, so I was reading something where someone was saying farewell to someone, and I just read it as your name. It was just like, no, that's a name. That's not someone saying farewell.
We have problems.
Oh, we fucking do.
There is no life, there is only D&D. Right. So, where are you going? What are you doing? Come on.
We're going into my room.
Leading the way into Farewell's room.
Yeah, let's go. I'm ready for investigation.
So you go into Farewell's
Porn
room,
everywhere.
Don't die.
and
And Gloria, are you helping
boringly,
me
there's
with
not a
the
huge amount in
investigation?
it.
Of course I am.
Yeah, go on, Simon. Sorry.
And boringly, there's not a huge amount in his room. You do notice there's a couple of things there that you haven't seen before. They're mostly drawings. The drawings are charcoal, and they are of outlines of figures. You can see kind of head and shoulders, but then it kind of goes to nothing below. And you can see that there's a group of them. There's 7 in one picture, 6 in another. And the drawing with the charcoal seems to be quite erratic. And it's just black figures where you can see the general outline of them, and then the background is all scuffed in black as well. So it's a very black and haunting sketch.
Can I do a investigation?
Yeah, do an investigation check.
Glory's helping me, which is why I'm rolling
Yes.
with.
Sure.
Laura's curious too, you know.
3 plus 8, 16 plus 8, 24.
Okay. You look at the paint. Well, you look at the charcoal drawings. They were done very fast, very erratically. There's scuffing where the person's clearly scuffed using their hand to blur certain parts and then make other parts a lot darker and sharper by going over them again and again. They seem to have gone so erratically and so quickly that at one point in one of the pieces of paper, the charcoal's actually gone through the paper. Other than that,
Right.
Farewell's room seems normal. No different to usual.
That was kind of disappointing.
I didn't know you
The
drew.
fun-
Farewell
Is
does
any of the
sketch.
drawings naked?
Yep.
Is any of the drawings naked?
No, they're outlines. They're blurry
Like
outlines of people
figures,
in
yeah.
black on a black background.
Are you asking? Are they life drawings?
It's not a life drawing.
These kind of these look like frantic dream or vision drawings or something. Don't you think?
Yes.
Look, I mean, he went through the freaking page.
Yes.
Yes.
This is very strange.
Slightly.
Where did Aiden go? I'm gonna find Aiden.
I'm gonna take one of the drawings and head out and show.
I like the fact that yeah, you've just seen this moment of pure manic, perhaps psychosis, and Eclipse is just like, where's Aiden?
That's boring. There's no
Yeah, she's a
movie.
cat. She's just like, oh, that's a thing. Bored now.
Moving on.
Like, where's my peoples? I have most of my peoples here. We're missing one of my peoples.
I just think she's jealous because Aiden's been spending time with Olivia, but we'll cross that bridge in character when we get there.
You do
Okay.
not do anything to my human.
So,
it is also Aiden is the only human.
Yes.
so Eclipse goes looking for her human.
My one
And-
human.
So yeah, Eclipse goes looking for her human, and the other thing that Cora just going next door to Farewell, who's in her room, is something that happens a lot faster. So yeah, you walk into your room with one of these strange charcoal drawings. What are you saying? What are you doing?
Oh, that means she's. Yeah, I was about to say that means you're going to probably catch me in the middle of what I wanted to check. But that's fine.
We can roll for it to see if I do.
No,
we
no,
were
no.
probably looking at the pictures for a while, so.
No. There's going to be a lot of note writing, but at the end of the note writing, I want to hold my hand out,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to summon the knife.
Yes, because that's the one thing that you guys didn't see is that it wasn't at his belt. If he takes his hand off the knife, it
He's not
disappears.
carrying.
So
Yeah, he's not. As far as he's concerned, he's unarmed.
a strange
But he knows he
impulse
can.
makes you reach your hand out, Farewell, and as you reach your hand out, some dark swirling energy just starts to manifest in midair. You grab at it, and suddenly you're holding this obsidian knife. And I'm gonna show the people because it's awesome.
concerning yet.
That
It is this
is
knife here.
deeply.
Also, yes, if anyone asks, we have become anime.
Yes.
Yes.
Thankfully, I don't watch anime, so I don't have to worry about the fact that some of these things may have happened in films. So yeah, the blade appears in your hand, Farewell, and when Cora walks in, you're holding this nasty-looking obsidian dagger.
Oh, that's new.
Yeah. I don't like it. And I don't know why I don't like it. But I know I really, really don't like it. But I don't want to be rid of it. And I, again, don't know why I don't want to be rid of it. And it kind of scares the living everything out of me that that decision has already been made. And I've got a feeling that that's a decision I made. Because only I would make that sort of stupid decision.
Yes.
True.
Cora is twirling the ring on her wedding finger. Okay. Yeah, I don't think you're the only one who's made weird decisions. Has very different feelings about it.
Yeah, you remember when we talked about just getting on a horse or in the caravan and just going really far away and never coming back.
Yeah.
Well, that would have been a good idea, wouldn't it?
Probably. Yeah. Well, who knows? I mean, okay, so clearly a lot of crazy stuff has happened in the last 3 weeks and we don't know fuck all about it, but
But
I feel stronger. I feel like I'm less likely to, I can protect myself better and there us all. You know what I mean? Do you feel that too? Are you
I have never, ever felt as strong as I feel right now. I mean, I didn't even know you could do some of the things that I know I can do.
Yeah.
I mean, watch. And I go from one end of her room, and I'm going to look at the other end of the room, and I'll make a vertical slash, step through, and
Yeah.
I'll
So, Cora, you just saw him slash space, walk through the tear, and appear out the other side, on the other side of your room, and then the tear immediately repairs itself.
okay? Wow, yeah, that's a thing.
yeah. We started looking into rifts.
And now
I
you're
have a
creating.
very, and it's ritualistic. It looks ritualistic, and we don't remember what happened. Someone's taking stuff out of us. I've apparently been training. You've been doing things. You got married.
Maybe.
That
We don't know that. I just because it's on this finger. I mean, it looks like I could have pulled it off this finger, but I don't know why, and I don't want to.
or
get
you
rid
had
of it.
another ring on that finger and you gave it up, or it was taken from you.
I hate not knowing.
Yeah. I want answers, and I felt that we were getting answers.
I'm gonna hold up his picture and hand it to him.
Does this look like my hand?
It's erratic, and normally you're so meticulous at doing your little drawings and sketches in your book. I'd like you to do a. This is actually wisdom because it's based on perception. So do me wisdom with proficiency.
Oh,
Oh
thank,
boy.
thank fuck I've got proficiency because that was real low. Is that what's my proficiency now? It's +3, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's got mathematics.
Simple mathematics.
I can't do maths at the moment. It's a 12. Yeah, I rolled really badly.
Okay. So for your 12, it could be you, but you're not entirely sure. Now do a wisdom saving throw.
Oh shit.
I'm much better at wisdom saving throws.
concern.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Suddenly your heart rate goes up. You get a cold feeling, clammy, sweaty palms, and you take a moment just to center yourself. And you feel like you've just fought off a panic attack.
You okay?
No. No, I'm usually I like to play the whole. I don't even think I've got the words to pretend to be flippant or even brave. I'm really scared. Like, really, really scared. That, and I just point at the picture and I'm not even looking at it. That pushes something in me that really gives me the heebie-jeebies, for lack of a better. I don't think I want to look at that, as I have a feeling that that is some stuff I... Hold on. Sorry, Simon. I think we can hear you breathing, dude.
No, I'm nowhere near my mic.
Stop breathing. Stop breathing.
I can just hear somebody breathing, and it keeps putting me off, and I'm really sorry. That
It's usually me, but that moment I was muted, so I
Yeah.
don't know who could it be.
Maybe it was just me. I didn't notice. So maybe it was me.
Fair enough.
I'll
just
mute
be me.
myself. Stop
I'm-
breathing.
I shall try not to heavy breathe in your direction.
you remember? I mentioned I don't remember much about what happened. That I remember going to the caravan, and then I kind of remember waking up, and then there being a lot of dead, and just having to deal with all of that. That kind of looks how I feel when I think about that, and kind of how I feel or felt when I went into the scrying thing.
Farewell,
have
you
a
find yourself counting the
re-
heads.
Oh shit. And I'm doing things automatically, and I don't know why. And so I have a feeling that me, that was before we woke, and my system woke up in the sorry, hold on. The square knows a lot more about what's going on in that picture than the me stood right here now.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah. This is heavy and dramaful, and I don't like it. I think we need a drink and to do something. I need to go and do something. This is too depressing for me.
Meanwhile, downstairs, Aiden is at the bar and is going to get a little bit of time before his kitty shadow catches up with him. What are you doing, Aiden?
I sit at the bar and I go, can I have, Noki, can I have the usual, please?
Sure. He takes a cheap bottle of red plonk, pours it out, waiting for the usual look of disgust on your face.
Yep. And as I take a sip, I try not to gag.
Okay. It burns, and you get this this moment of acid in your stomach. But once it passes, it feels familiar. It feels right.
Oh, I hate how this tastes. Sip.
Do I catch up? Do I catch up?
No, I'm gonna let Aiden ask whatever he
No,
wants to
don't
ask.
let him become drunk! Don't let him become drunk! It's our moment!
He went downstairs and then you went off and explored a room. So he's got an entire room exploration's worth of drinking ahead of you. So, I mean, in all fairness, you went in and looked at some pictures. Actually, no, you did. Yeah, you were around for the investigation check. So, yeah, he manages to get a good goblet and a half down his neck. Is there anything anybody you'd like to speak to, Rodrigo, or anything like that before your kitty shadow turns up?
I mean, I have nothing to talk about. Like Aiden was just gonna go start drinking. He shouldn't be sober.
Sure. Eclipse, when you get downstairs, he's not 3 sheets to the wind, but man, is he trying. He's trying to get to that lovely kind of warm haze of drunkenness that Aiden spends most of his time in. It's like putting on an old coat.
I walked up and said, Aiden.
Done room exploring yet?
Yes, and I think we should try a day of no drinking. So I take the wine from him and just put it on the outside. You don't even like it.
I think you've got a sponsor.
Sorry, you sounded kind of weird there, Karen. What?
Oh, yeah. You know I'm right, so because you don't like it. You told me several times you don't like wine, so
Yeah, I fucking hate it.
yeah. So let's not drink it.
Sure. So what are you doing here? You like I asked, have you finished like room jumping?
Yes, we haven't really looked in your room. Did you look in your room?
I did. I didn't find anything interesting.
I'll take him at face value.
You don't really have a choice. It's his room, yeah.
Yes, as in if I was gonna insight check him or not. I'm like, no, I'm gonna take him at face value.
Yeah, didn't find anything interesting, so I guess you're gonna find more clues in I don't know anyone else's room.
Well, we have conspiracy theorist 12, so that's...
Why am I not surprised?
Funnily enough, I'm not surprised either, so... we also got... we found a bunch of drawings in Farwell's room, but nothing too interesting. Glory has... Oh, did you know that Glory apparently made that, like, jewelry enchantment thing by herself in a week?
Oh, joy.
By the way, I'd like to think that when
Yeah.
you pointed out the boring drawings, that's where we would cut to Farewell, kind of, having controlled breathing and bringing himself down from the panic attack.
Boring drawings.
Of the poor boy's psyche shattering.
Well, at least it's proof that he had one. Can't be said for everyone in this group.
True.
Did you find any more information about your gun?
Well, I found out that someone else made it for me. Then, apparently, from what I could gather, I helped her out, and she decided to help me out, and we worked on this thing for a bit. And she's gonna come back in like 11 days. No, 9 days.
Right.
9 days to see if it's still working. Which will mean that will be the perfect time to just like bombard her with questions.
Alright. Cool. So how are you doing?
I just kind of stare at her for a second and be like, seriously, how the fuck do you think I'm doing?
Because I'm normally the one who can deal with things, but at the moment I can't really deal with this. I have 3 weeks of my memory missing. 3 weeks of knowledge that I just lost. Like that. And
Yeah, same here. Same for all of us.
yes.
You're not dealing with that alone.
No, but I'm freaking out. And like I how are you? Like you seem so calm, but you're always calm.
And that's not necessarily true. Hey, Noki, can you bring me like literally anything that has alcohol in it? I will really appreciate it.
Don't, no.
Noki leans back in the bar and he's there going, "You realize I'm not going to get in between one of your lovers' tiffs, yes?"
My boy.
I hate you so
Boy, we
much.
got game. More than one lady after it.
I
No,
hate you so much.
I don't see this eclipse human. Everybody else is so. Farewell is eclipses genocide, and then eclipses halfling, and eclipses halfling.
I look at Noki like I'm like I hate you so much.
There's just this cat-like grin from him.
Fine, can you at least bring me some fucking water? I don't know.
What can I will agree?
He plunks fruit juice down and he goes, "It's like wine. It's made of fruit."
Just give me just get me some water.
He goes out
It
back.
doesn't have alcohol in it. It just gets me fucking water.
Yep, he gets you some water and plonks it down. For everybody in the chat, I've just placed a link to a stream vote. If you vote on that little website, it will give a finesse point to one of the players. Right, carry on, guys.
I assume we should not go to that site.
Vote for myself. Vote for myself.
me.
Your IP address will only be able to do one vote anyway, so it'll just all balance out.
You underestimate my power of VPN.
I was gonna say.
So what's with this gun, Aiden? Do you know anything?
Well, I know how to use. I know how to use it. It doesn't.
Yeah.
You
It
pull up,
doesn't use
yeah, you
anything.
pull out the gun and it feels familiar in your hand. It feels, yeah, it feels good.
Yeah, twirl it a bit. Yeah. Yeah, I know how to use it. I know the logo, the symbol in it. That's who made it, and I recognize those glyphs.
What does the glyph say?
Bunch of blood hunter nonsense. Yeah, this thing basically shoots magic as far as I'm concerned. I know how to use it. I know I've used it before, but yeah, it feels weird.
The timer is for the vote, by the way, so don't worry about that.
God. Okay.
Got to stop doing that. The response is getting Pavlovian.
Basically,
Yeah,
Simon plus timer
leaning
equals
close.
bad.
I'm leaning close to like Aiden conspiratorially and be like, yeah. And I was gonna say, and just say, do you think family has anything to do with this?
I don't know.
Do you know where they are? Because you haven't told the Eclipse doesn't know anything about them really, other than
I
family
do
knows
know
Canal.
where they are. I do know where they are.
Where are they?
They're probably somewhere better.
I'm just gonna make an intelligence check to see what if Eclipse realizes what you're talking about.
Sure, you can do that. That's your
Yes,
interest.
on a natural 18, she does.
Yes, you get the
understand what you're
insinuation.
talking about. Yes. Sorry. I didn't know.
It's fine. Yeah, they're all back where our house used to be in South Vandercourt, and everything's burned to cinders.
Right. If I may ask, how did that happen?
I don't know. I found them that way.
Right.
Hey Noki, can you please hurry up with a drink?
Yeah, he's put water right in front of you. You've got some.
Right, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can pretend that you're drinking water.
I'm basically drinking the water as I'm telling this. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm very sorry. Do clicks know about family fate?
No, he's never mentioned it before.
No.
No.
The only person
We
that
barely know anything.
you do know that they're dead,
Yes.
and you know that his brother is alive. How they died and the details of it, the only person
The
that knows
brother
that
we're not sure about after the last thing.
It's very true.
Yeah.
But
So yeah, I say
only Cora.
I say
Yeah.
that to Eclipse then that I just know what he has told us.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I was thinking if there was a connection that families up and disappearing, being attacked, but
No, my family did not disappear. My family is ash right now.
I am so sorry for that
No,
happened to you.
it's okay. It's okay. I just Noki, please, alcohol. Please, I beg you.
Aidan, let's find somewhere else, some other way to cope with it rather than drinking. I understand why you've drunk so much, but I think it's time to find another way.
Noki's just
Whiskey,
raising his
vodka,
eyebrows at you.
beer, vodka, whiskey, beer, ale. I don't care. If it has alcohol in it, please.
He's raised his
Okay,
eyebrow and says,
We
if I
come
put
down at this point.
Yeah, let's say this has gone on for long enough that you guys are like, where are the others gone? And you all come down, and you come into an argument between Eclipse and Aiden, where Noki turns around and says, "Look, if I put alcohol down on the bar, she's just going to take it away from you."
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Hi guys, I'm doing the experiment of how long can we keep Aiden sober.
It's going terribly.
What?
Sounds interesting enough. I mean, why not?
Can you jam it straight into my veins?
I could, but I wouldn't.
No,
recommend
I am
it.
asking Noki. Like this was towards Noki.
I still want like that Carol did like respond to that. It's just like
Yes.
Do you have like a way to just like jam it in straight, please?
As yet, I haven't found a
there?
way of
Are we there?
putting that particular
Yeah.
product out there. Yes, the rest of you are here.
Right.
You're all here.
Well, okay. I mean, like, if Aiden's saying that, I'm just gonna be like, Aiden, no matter how much alcohol you force into your body, it will not make all of this go away.
Yes. Yes.
also I'm liking you
Sorry,
sober.
but- I mean, you
Yeah.
know, alcohol's great, but we all can't hide from this. And this 3 weeks is one thing, your past is another, but you can't keep hiding from
Well,
it.
question: did you hear what when you came down? I don't think I heard
No,
about.
no, I'm
That's-
assuming I didn't
Oh,
hear
okay.
about it, but I don't know. But we know how you've been before the 3 weeks.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
So I was
Yeah.
it was referring to how we've met you wanting to drink all the time. So
Right.
it was
Yeah.
referring to that.
And I still want to drink.
Yeah, yeah. Like, yeah. Cora's putting a home truth in front of you, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
I-
Any other avenues of investigation that you guys would like to go to?
Not here.
Oh yeah. Should we call Renata?
We could go to the warehouse and see if it's still there. And I mean, yeah, we could call.
Two good
Renata,
ideas.
but-
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we could technically
One
walk
call-
and talk.
Yeah.
We don't need to be stood still to do it. So we could do both at the same time.
Yeah. See if she knows
Should we
anything.
check the warehouse before we call on our boss to say that we have no memory of 3 weeks? I don't feel like it's a good idea.
Do we have any good ideas? Is that is a
Not
better
really.
question?
Not really.
No.
No.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you. At this stage, we are so deep in the shit with no idea what
Nucky.
to do.
Yes,
Okay.
What have
Glory.
we got to
Did
lose?
you see anything when you tried to look into Aiden's mind about the missing weeks? I know
No,
you mentioned
I
something
got
about
a migraine like
when
I
you
was
fell
looking at the
down.
sun. I got a terrible migraine,
Hmm.
and I am not trying to do that again.
Right, I feel like I have a migraine right now, so I don't blame you.
That sobriety, it will pass in a few days. Plenty of fluids.
Depending on
Thanks,
how
I
long
hate
you've
it.
been drunk. With how long you've been drunk, it might take.
Plenty of fluids and rest, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, it's been a while. Anyways, so what do you guys think? Are we gonna go talk with Renata or
I
what?
think we should do both. We've got nothing to lose. We don't know where we went. We don't know what direction to go. There
Yes.
is and if Renata is truly as
Skilled?
how do I say this without appearing mean? But as genuine and as nice as it has appeared previously, she'll be more concerned than annoyed.
That is
Yeah.
fair.
And if anything, it will be an excellent judge as to whether or not she has been genuine with us from the get go. And we've got no reason to
Right.
doubt that.
Right.
Yeah.
I do suppose so.
So
Okay.
who wants to make the call?
So
I
the
must-
timer
Could
has
you make a
finished,
group
and
call?
farewell. You have a finesse point,
Oh no!
You can give that to anyone.
so you can now
He did use all of his computer skills.
Hey.
you can now use your fate rend ability to bestow that on anybody as they need it as a reaction.
Bow for my benediction, mortals.
I call fraud.
I have no idea what you mean. I just think you salty, bro.
You guys have got half an hour. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Press
Simple. We're gonna walk to the warehouse.
And call Renata.
Somebody, anybody, but farewell. Please talk to Renata.
I will call Renata.
Okay,
Oh,
Fitz will
what
call
do you
Renata.
want to? No, I don't.
No,
if
you
want to, then
said it
call
first. You
Renata.
said it first. You said it first. You said it
Okay,
first.
okay. I will call Renata.
I don't
Aw.
want Ida to call Renata because of his charisma score.
Nobody wants to talk to teacher. Oh dear. Okay, go for it. What are you gonna say?
I will call Renata. I will try to contact her and say, "Hi, hello, Renata. Is that you?"
Ring, ring,
Ring, ring, ring, ring.
While
This is-
Eclipse is doing that, would just like turn to that and say, I have never experienced memory loss as a part of the game. I am unsure of how we can proceed. This is weird.
Yeah, I think everyone feels weird. I don't. God, fucking. Ugh. Anyways.
As they're
I
saying
mean-
that, there's a voice that comes over your badge, Eclipse, and she says, 2 weeks? That must have been quite the chase. When you've got time, report in. I want to see what you found. I assume you caught it.
Renata, I have. So my report is that all of us have no memory of the last 3 weeks. So we would like some information, please.
I
What was
love
the-
how earnest she is.
You have no memory of the last 3 weeks.
None at all. It is completely gone, and someone has cut out the pages of Farewell's book.
I would say that's a minor thing compared to having your minds ravaged. You seem so calm about it. Someone's taken your memories.
I'm not calm. I'm trying to be calm for everybody else, but I'm not calm, Renata.
There's a moment.
I'm so glad I didn't hear that book comment.
There's a moment of
We will deal
recollection
with
as
this later.
she goes from being slightly rattled at you just saying, "Oh, hi, we can't remember a thing," and suddenly her noble bearing comes back and she says, "No, you're quite right, Eclipse. I think that would be the best way to go forward. Stay calm and make your way to the mansion. We'll do what we can for you. I'm sure it's just some sort of modify memory effect. There are mental magics that do such things, and we will restore your mind. Come to us when you can, and be careful, because the person who did this to you could be anyone."
Yeah, we woke up. Woke up in the middle of town square that I could have been in the crowd.
You're breaking up, Corinne.
Sorry, I was coughing.
All right.
We woke up in the square. They probably found whoever did this if they had to be near us. All we know is this really powerful magic to make all of us lose 3 weeks of memory.
Okay. Let's save
like-
this conversation. Let us save this conversation until you come here in person. At the moment, you're just firing facts at me, and I kind of need to see you all. Do what you need to do and head my way. I'll clear my schedule for you.
Thank you.
The badge disconnects.
Renata, should we just go to her first? Yeah.
No, I was gonna say that while everyone was distracted and Eclipse was talking with Renata Green, I was like necking a cup of wine that Naki served me that Eclipse like pushed away from.
Yeah,
Sure.
and the cup.
Oh,
So
we
you.
were talking and
goblet.
talking. Are you still at the?
Oh, I thought we were still at the bar.
No.
Sorry.
I think you should have brought it with you there.
That's pretty hilarious.
Sure. Let's go with that.
Can I roll a perception to see if I actually saw this?
Go for it.
Only forgiving evils. Like, I just want to know.
I mean, it's for the sake of
Yes,
giving
you
evils. I would just say
let the
you did.
mansion.
He can have it. That's what I'll be it. It's 16 for me to see. I don't
Do
know.
I have to light of hand or?
Something like
Go
that,
on, roll
I
it for the
guess.
fun of it.
Simon, is it?
Simon.
Roll sleight of hand for the fun of it.
You were cutting out.
Roll sleight of hand for the come of it.
What she should not to roll.
No, I rolled. What should Aiden roll? Yeah.
Aiden should roll sleight of hand.
Trying to hide that you're doing that. I say no.
Chat. We can't. We can't hear anything.
This is so fucking brilliant. This just sums up our luck when it comes with Discord and all the other stuff that we're doing.
Aiden should roll sleight of hand.
Well, whatever it was, it doesn't matter because I rolled a natural 1 anyways.
Fair enough.
We all notice.
We
Oh.
rolled a natural one.
Yeah, so we all notice.
So,
Glare
so
at
if he
you.
rolled a natural one, I think everyone surely sees.
Sure.
I'd just be like, I'm just gonna sigh and keep walking.
I'm just gonna like go if enough time. I will just slap the thing out of your hand while I'm talking to Renata.
Oh really?
I'm gonna say that Aiden would have.
Some
I'm gonna say that Aiden would have
Like-
done this as you were walking away. You wouldn't have had a chance. He just kind of what happens is with a natural one is that he goes to do this really stealthy scoop and chuck it down his neck, and instead it's just this kind of bumbling butterfingered kind of and as he throws it down his throat. Okay. So you start walking towards the warehouse, the lockup, yeah?
I was going to ask, do we want to go to Renata's place first? Because we can go there.
Well, make a decision, because you've got 20 minutes left. I appreciate I'm saying to D&D players make a decision, but let's try it.
Oh. I don't mind. I think the warehouse could be like the rooms, though. We could get some sort of information from there.
I guess.
But
Renata probably has
follow everyone else. I have no idea anymore.
Renata says she probably has some way to restore our memories completely, so...
Let's head there.
Yeah.
I'd like my memory.
Okay.
Yeah.
You head to Renata's, and the Green Mansion is, as usual, people pouring in and out, all members of the Green Organisation. There's a lot of people who give you a heads up as you walk past, saying to you by name. So there's somebody that just walks past and says, "Hey, Aiden, oh, you built it, fantastic!" And he points at the witch lock at your belt. And he says, yeah, that looks like the metalwork has really worked out for you. You have no idea who this guy is. And he just goes, anyway, I'm in a rush. I've got to carry on with what I'm doing. And he heads on out, and Aiden just looks at this guy and he's like, I've never met you before in my life. Then, as you walk into the foyer, Olivia Storm walks out of one of the rooms, notices that you're there, makes a beeline towards you, but mostly makes a beeline to Aiden and says, I was told that you lost your memories. All of them?
All of them in the 3-week period.
She looks somewhat disappointed and strangely a bit amused as well, and says, okay, well, I guess we get you back to Renata then. Yeah, come on. And
Can I please, can I insight that?
Yeah, me too.
Please.
I am not gonna bother.
I'm so invested in this in canon already that I just cannot help myself. I've gone full eclipse at this moment.
go on.
Insight is +4, so a 15 for me.
Prepared to get wrecked.
Yeah.
Come on. Where is it? Where's my insight? Oh, fucking hell. I didn't realise it was...
I rolled a 21.
23.
21.
Okay. So you all see on Olivia's face, you see concern, embarrassment. What else do you see? Strangely, also relief, in a way. Yeah, I'm going to say that you can see relief as well, and she's very much kind of invested in getting you guys to remember things as well, getting your memories back as well. So she seems resolute in taking you to Renata to get this sorted out, but there are flashes of those other 3 things. So yeah, there's certainly those 2 things as well.
Right.
That's as much as you get with insight. Insight is not telepathy.
No,
I
absolutely
can
not.
turn on my telepathy if I want to, but I'm not going to do that because they probably have wards against that.
Yes.
I give Aiden a knowing and respectful nod.
I am not drunk enough to deal with this right now.
Good job, Aiden.
Please don't. Your approval fills me with shame.
Then I'm doing my job.
What did you do, Aiden?
I don't know, and I really hope it's not what I think it is.
You know she is just stood right there.
Yes, I know. Again, I'm not drunk enough to deal with this.
She's gone
How
from
is
what I
Olivia
told you
taking
before.
this?
Oh, she's looking furious. She draws herself up to her full height and she says, "Let's go and meet your employer, shall we?" And she just strides up the stairs without a second word.
I must.
Maybe something you don't say out loud. Thoughts in your head. Thoughts in your head.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
will say though
you
that
notice
her
as pale as
professional
she
veneer
is.
is very impressive.
It is, isn't it?
What did you say,
Very
Simon?
good.
What are you gonna say, Simon?
You do notice that as pale as she is, I mean, she is one of the palest people that you've ever seen. There is a blush on the cheeks, and because she's so pale, it stands out so much more. And she's almost aware of the blush, and she's even more angry because of it. And that's why she's striding up the stairs.
I
at
got
the
a
moment.
farewell. I got a farewell.
have.
I
She's
got a
cute though, Aiden.
farewell. I got a farewell. And goes like, "Hey, can you please lend me a piece of paper, parchment, whatever."
Yeah, you've got spare.
It's farewell.
Why?
Just fucking give it.
Okay. I begrudgingly will give him a piece of paper from my book.
You've got spare in your bag. You just pull out some of your spare paper and give it to him.
I will. I'm not gonna do anything with it right now, but I will as soon as there's like a flat surface and something to write on.
Okay, sure.
Is our boy writing a love letter now? Oof.
God
We
damn.
are
Lot of
progress.
ragging on Aiden. It has to be said. There's a lot of ragging on
We
poor
have
Aiden.
Glory,
had
I
an
say this
eventful
with
3
it.
weeks.
So
Glory,
you
We
get
I
are-
say this.
Hold on, Simon. Hold on. Sorry, I was going to say, we are well and truly dealing with this trauma in some very strange ways.
I say
I gotta say though that I thought she was interested, but I didn't realize it was beyond the professional. Well done. And I slap him on the shoulder and I carry on. She's gonna
say
kill all
this
of us if we dally.
I say
Yeah, I was gonna say Aiden.
I say this with no hint of irony or humor. I hate you, Glory.
I like you too, Aiden.
Sorry, I've been stalling too much.
You're led up the stairs into the familiar study of, Renata and some of the scholars that you've seen in there all tend to be of the older generation, or those who are of the younger generation and are sat there studying, have robes that denote that they are scholars of some renown. When you walk in there this time, there is just Renata stood in the middle of the room, a worried look on her face, and Olivia walks straight up, whispers something in her ear, turns around, glares at you all, and then disappears. She just vanishes.
Bye.
I want to be able to do that.
Oh, I don't know. Another couple of days, we'll probably lose about a month this time, and you'll probably wake up and be able to, considering how things
No.
are going for us.
Maybe I could fly then. That would be fun.
That would be really cool.
Renata turns to you and says, "So, it sounds like your hunt was eventful? What do you remember?"
Yes, we did. Last thing we remember is going to Tristane's house, getting this sweet new armor, and going to bed.
Yes.
Okay, so the armor I
That
remember as
is-
well.
All
3
we
weeks
remember.
ago.
That's literally all.
Right, so I sent you on the trail of, let's see, what was his name again? Robert Cast. 2 weeks ago. He was taken on by the university as just a child in the streets who seemed to be wielding magic. Just
Okay.
he was a natural. However, his personality was always very raucous, had a problem with authority, and we believed he was performing some of the experiments that was causing these problems in the sewers, which at the moment, thanks to some of Tristane's measures that he set in place before he left, we've managed to keep down to a minimum, and we haven't had, thankfully, any exposure to the public and no injuries to the public. Although we have sent out a general alert for disease, and we've put the sewers out of bounds to any member of the public. You went after Robert, and as part of your hunt, he left the city limits, and I ordered you to follow him. You travelled out probably about a day, and then the badges stopped working. I assumed that you had pursued him through some sort of ward. The badges are very convenient, and considering they use the sending spell, they've got a fantastic range and power source, but they are fragile to certain things, as I say, wards, and sometimes if you're underground too far. I just assumed that you were on the case, and you seem to be able to handle yourself, and you took to the training very well. So, do you remember anything about Robert? Anything about your hunt? Can you hear me, guys?
Absolutely fucking not.
Nope.
No.
As far as we're concerned, with the first time.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I suppose the first thing to do would be to try the...
Sort of just go over to Farewell where his shield is. Well, fighting unless this happened in that first.
She examines the shield. And
Well, I
says,
certainly wasn't fighting in the first week. I was in the temple.
You
So
were.
the second.
You were spending some time communing with your goddess, which seemed to bear good results. She takes a look
You
at the
cut
shield
out.
and says,
I'm
"Sorry, the sound today is terrible."
I'm a little worried you went to eunuch first.
Here, Simon.
Simon.
Hang on a sec. Let me just sort out this fucking thing.
I think we lost the DM.
Simon.
He's the robot.
Hello, Simon.
The DM's a robot. We're all doomed. We're gonna die. Slow and painfully.
Chat might be able to.
Yeah.
Rescue him. Ah. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can tell, that we clearly in the United Kingdom invest in our internet infrastructure, and the idea of high-speed broadband is not a fallacy.
Brexit's fault.
Woo, topical. In other words, he is crap.
Be with Virgin Media. That's what I'm with.
It's all BT. It's all BT's infrastructure.
Wish.
Isn't it?
I had your-
Well, I don't use
Yeah.
the line.
No.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh no, I can hear you now,
We
but
can
you're
hear you,
hideously
it's
out of
just
sync.
delayed, yeah.
Yeah. I am sorry for suggesting this, but maybe we should just end on a cliffhanger a little early today.
Yeah, considering
Yeah.
that it's going
Yeah.
downhill.
Yeah.
The
There's only like
technical
6 minutes left
difficulty.
anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the tech is worse than usual.
Everyone.
Right. We're going to leave it there, I think. We have been completely screwed over by the internet today.
Fuck.
We are losing after.
All I'm going to say, who
Please
I
subscribe.
don't know whoever has done this to us in in the game and removed our me. They're also extending out Simon's laptop and anything else that we're
Yep.
using.
Yeah.
The whole
Yes.
point is that Simon's actually doing this on purpose, and it's all an interactive kind of really immersive
It was his
kind of
plan
experience.
all along.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So what you mean, like that's like fourth wall break inside a fourth wall break?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super meta.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Yeah.
you guys can hear me now, but I've
Ooh, that actually.
You want
Yeah.
to say, Simon?
I've got a feel for Simon because you can tell he's trying hard with all of the stuff to do this for us, and it's just
Oh,
must be
man.
so frustrating for you. And we are so grateful you keep trying.
So, we can talk off stream, but like maybe we can figure out whether we try a session or a test session where, if doing it through someone else's internet, like because if you gave the login details, then I could stream it to Chaotic Neutral via this.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's going to work around
Yeah,
that way.
might actually.
I will look into it, but it just seems to be the internet rather than anything else. I'm presuming that everybody can hear me now, and they can hear me in
Yes.
in
Yes.
the chat as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we can hear you now.
yeah, I will look into see what's going on with it all. But it does seem to be that the internet just crapped out on us, which is really frustrating.
Yeah,
Uh,
but
We didn't have it
Well,
last
my
time.
It really
internet
was.
seems to
It really
be
is.
fine. Well, considering we're using the same internet, my internet hasn't been nearly as bad. So
Yeah, but
I wanna...
you're not putting through the same packets that I'm putting through. Bear in mind, I'm putting through
Yeah.
two instances of
Yeah.
Discord and OBS, and granted,
yeah, it's
I've
the computer and the internet. It's the
Yeah.
computer probably failing.
Yeah.
More than
Yeah.
the internet specifically.
Yeah.
so I mean, and there's a few other things I can get rid of as well, and there's some settings I can change. So I will do my homework. But yes, so we'll leave it there, and we'll get started with the conversation with Renata as of
Yeah.
beginning of next session. So thank you very
Yeah.
much for everybody who's viewing, who's bearing with us here. And
Love you, Jenny.
yes, I did see
Giving us a
Jenny on the
chance.
chat. So thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Paul and Dan, if you're around. It's not usually as bad as this. Sometimes it's worse, but mostly it's better. And we will continue with these guys discovering what the hell went on in the last 3 weeks that they don't remember as of next week. So the things that I didn't manage to get to do this week with regard to the stream is I didn't manage to go through Nightbot, but I was going to send out some details of Nightbot to one of the players to allow them to have a look through it as well. And I've yet to ask for a volunteer with that, which I'll do. And there's a few more graphics and things that I'm going to be putting in for next week as well. But whilst I'm putting in new graphics, I shall also take out some of the old vestiges in OBS, just in case there's some of those things that are just looping and taking up some of my bandwidth. So thank you very much, everybody, and we will see you all next week. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Night, everyone.